just dropped a body down the stairs.
Nobody worries, she just dropped a body down the stairs.
And there we go.
Right. Oh.
Hello?
Are we live?
Yes.
Are people able to watch this?
Yes.
Remind me later, I have an idea, a fun idea I want to float. I don't think we can do it, but I think it'd be really fun. There's the boy.
Oh, this is it. David Rodriguez and Wendy S. Hello, good morning.
There will be no controversies in this review.
None. Not on this. Hello. Good morning. Do we have a...
We should. I'm going to double check though. There it is.
Cool, these is my levels, and they probably are going to be the same as...
These are my levels.
Since no one else really comes in, we're pretty safe.
We don't invite them.
Yuck. Don't come in here with your germs. All right, well...
Do you think Roxy would be able to come in for the
We had...
episode? Oh, we should promote Super TV on this
Right now.
right now. Well, I mean, yes.
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 I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool. I'm super cool.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm so cool. Listen, don't.
You got the Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
It's been dropping.
Last time with the...
They should have known once it got a lot of positive buzz from Venice that people will be like, wait, it's not the...
I'm still mad Green Room has an 84%, which is not bad.
That's actually pretty good. That's
It
pretty
is.
solid, especially for that. It's violent R-rated movie. I'm good. That's good.
Punk bands killing Nazis?
Yeah. Come on.
Sounds cool. And
Yeah.
Patrick
Swayze.
Warburton Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever Star Trek one.
Cool. Oh wait.
There we go. No, that's...
Wait. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to Might Be Awesome. My name is Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Wooldridge, whether you like it or not.
Ooh, we got some fancy headphones on today for
Yeah.
the official review. Spoiler free.
This is the official review.
Yes.
So everybody's been waiting for this review.
You're welcome. Of Joker 2019. There's not another one. But
There
just
isn't
so you
another
know,
one.
Yet.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not going to be more Joker movies. But yes, this is our official review. We saw a press screening last night, and we're going to be talking about that as well as our spoiler-free thoughts, because I know there's a lot of buzz around this movie. There's a lot of opinions out there about this movie.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you up top, before we even say an opinion, is that you be civil in that comment section. I know that basically means nothing. It's like screaming into the wind, but I am going to put it out there.
Listen, we can all agree that sometimes we disagree,
Yes,
but we can do it nicely.
we can.
We can. I believe.
You guys are nice guys and gals.
The people that hang around our videos tend to be pretty nice guys and gals.
Yeah, and we want to make that community grow. We got some rules around here. But first up,
Yes.
let's do some business.
Yeah.
The Joker is written and directed by Todd Phillips and stars Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, Francis Conroy, Brett Cullen, Shea Wiggum, Bill Camp, and I feel like there's one more name that I wanted to mention.
Brian Tyree Henry.
There we go.
And
Man,
Mark
he's great.
Maron.
And Mark
for
Maron.
A scene.
He's got like two.
Yeah.
They're very close together, and
Yes.
they're very short. But he sure is in it.
And the critical consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is Joker gives its infamous central character a chillingly plausible origin story that serves as a brilliant showcase for its star and a dark evolution for comics-inspired cinema, and it is currently sitting at 74%. I believe when I looked yesterday, it was 76%. So
I mean, I feel like that description's pretty solid.
I think it's I agree. I agree. So obviously, Sam, we did not. This premiered at TIFF, correct? We were not at TIFF.
I think it may have been at Venice too. It's been out.
It's been around. And what were your thoughts going into it?
It's hard with the kind of stuff that we do. We end up reading a lot of articles that maybe sometimes and watching every trailer. And basically, we spoil ourselves, but that's part of the job. We're lucky to have this job, but we have to hear all opinions out there, and that's me not taking a side on any of the opinions specifically, but it's hard. We did our best to go into this movie without anything in our brains, because that's what each movie deserves, is to you to fully experience what this director and with this team of people, of thousands of people, wanted you to experience. And so that's what I tried to do going into it. I tried to throw those out of my brain because I like a lot of people, I've read what Todd Phillips had to say regarding comedy and how and PC culture and all this other stuff. I'm like, I really wish you didn't say that. I'm like, I really want to just watch this movie without any of the creative people's opinions attached to it. I want to see what they wanted to say just in the movie.
Yeah.
So that was crazy difficult. But anyways, going into this movie, I was excited. Who isn't? The Joker is an iconic character for a number of reasons, from Cesar Romero to Heath Ledger to kind of infamous for Jared Leto, you know, like sending condoms to people on the set. Yeah. So I was excited to see a masterclass actor like Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, who had this like awesome motivation to make a story that was uniquely grounded in a supernatural world or an otherworldly comic book universe. And I was interested to see making an origin movie for a villain. It's hard because you get excited about that idea, but by the end of it, the Joker is like the villain for like basically every comic book character. There's a lot of people who tried to like spin off a character that's similar to the Joker, and it always comes back to the Joker as like that iconic serial killer / mastermind / just all around psychopath. So by the end of this movie, it's not going to be a positive journey for our character. It's going to be pretty harrowing. So as walking out of this movie, I think we kind of had I felt like we both didn't quite have a concrete opinion about what we thought of the movie. Yeah. And sleeping on it, I did enjoy the movie for what it was. I think there were some people sitting next to us, and I want to reiterate what they had to say. I think it was very well said that for like over the past 30 years, we've had superhero movies, and that's like we're talking nipples on Batman, like that, or Spawn, like or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then eventually they kind of started to feel like movies. Like I feel like the MCU feels more special than previously created superhero movies. They feel special, and more people are in on them now. And this felt like the first art house movie, like truly art house movie. Like Logan had a very special place in a lot of people's hearts because it felt like, oh, this is like a Western. It's still a superhero movie, but it has all the trimmings of a Western.
And I don't think you'd get this movie without Logan, and we didn't get Logan without Deadpool. There's an interesting little and you didn't get Deadpool without the MCU. You know what I mean? So there's this interesting little step by step to get to here.
So the person who leaked Deadpool, you're responsible for this. You're responsible. So walking out of it and sleeping on it, getting to my opinion now. I appreciate the movie for what it is, and it's a masterclass of cinematography. I think the script's pretty tight overall. I think
the score left a big impression on me.
And score and the song selection, I think they were very important. And the way that the soundscape is used along with the cinematography gives you a really fleshed out world that doesn't I'll say that Nolan's Gotham feels like a world. It feels like a city. But this, I'm like, oh, I understand what he's trying to say, at least from Arthur's point of view, our main character played by Joaquin Phoenix. I understand it. And I think the performances across the board are fantastic. And Robert De Niro, Joaquin Phoenix. I especially love Brian Tyree Henry's scene. It just gets one. It's a bummer because I want him to be in more things, but I'm happy that he was in this movie. But at the end of it, I'm left feeling uneasy, and I think I'm supposed to feel that way for the most part because this is unsettling. It's depressing. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I think it's also close enough to things in the real world that it's challenging in a very specific way, and I don't think you can help but bring your thoughts on those things to that. And on that level, I appreciate like this movie really tries to be cinema. It's a very specific style of cinema, like the types of it could be compared a lot to past Scorsese films, Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, but those types of movies that existed in the 70s and 80s. And I think it's meant to be challenging, and it is challenging. Yeah. It is challenging, and I think it'll be interesting. On the one hand, the thing that I am least excited about for this movie is people's hot takes. But also, I think the way the people react to it will be very interesting barometer to will speak more to those people than maybe the movie itself. You know what I mean? And I think, which is also kind of its take on the title character. It's less about, this isn't your typical like city dominating master genius. You know what I mean? It's more what people project into how people react to Arthur and what he does than about Arthur. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the movie as well. But one thing I really appreciate about it, but I think also lends to our unclear idea of maybe how we feel, is that it leaves a lot ambiguous. You know what I mean? Especially for this genre of movie, for like, because again, the closest we've gotten to like a superhero cinematic experience of like art cinema is Logan. And at the end of the day, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Logan's a good guy. You know, he's got to protect the girl. You know what I mean? And this is not that. Because you're clearly not supposed to agree with everything that Arthur does. But the movie has a fair amount of sympathy for Arthur. And
to a point. I think there are certain things where you're like, there are lines.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it kind of asks you to evaluate people differently at points. And that's a whole nother, like, there's a lot of like these, like, it feels like hornet's nests that just like are birthed from this movie.
Yeah.
And that like, it's kind of asking you to go poke them.
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe I don't. Yeah. Maybe I don't want to.
Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to.
And maybe that's a problem.
And it's interesting but I think it does handle some of its trickier subjects with a fair amount of care. Like, gun violence, it doesn't necessarily have takes, but it does brush up against these things in ways that feel pertinent. My biggest concern was how it handled mental health.
That was a big one for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously this is a depiction of the failure of the system, as opposed to like, hey, here's how we can do this better. It's like, hey, here's all the ways we fail, which doesn't make you feel good. No. Yeah. And this movie's not going to make you feel good.
No, no part of it's going to make you feel good.
It may make your eyes feel good because it's very well shot.
It is. And just the art direction, I really appreciate it. When it comes to mental illness, that was a big concern for me, just for personal reasons. Everyone's kind of brushed up with mental illness either for themselves and their family or someone that they know. Like
these movies traditionally don't handle it that great.
No. Yeah. Superhero movies really. Did you mean superhero movies or movies in general?
I mean more superhero genre movies. I mean, even you go to horror movies and stuff like that. Anytime like, he's crazy. You know what I mean? It's not great.
No. But you're able to understand Arthur to a point. Not in his actions, but you're able to understand his world. I think it's just very specific distinctions need to be made when it comes to this movie, because he makes actions that are wrong. Yeah. He does, and so do other people in his world. And you understand that like his worldview is extremely skewed, and there are opinions that he will occasionally have where you're like, that might be right. You know what? That like when it comes to mental illness, like this needs to be addressed in a way that makes sense. He vaguely kind of like. Yeah. Brings that up, and you're like, yes, but then everything else around him and how he chooses to go about it, he's wrong. Yeah. And it's crazy how ambiguous this movie is able to leave everything, like all the details. There's a lot of plot points in this movie where you're like, it makes you question everything. Yeah. And I'm trying to keep this as vague as possible because
there are spoilers. Yeah, it's not necessarily as straightforward as I imagined it was going to be going in.
No, especially like from the beginning to the end, it really leaves you with a sense of like of having to question what you just saw, not in a like a political or moral sense. It literally just about what did you like. You have to figure out and piece together what you have seen on screen. Yeah. And I think when it comes to Joaquin Phoenix's performance, I think he absolutely. I don't want to say nailed it because it's like this is a new take on the character. Yeah. I think they brought to life the kind of Joker that they wanted to in a grounded sense, like Rotten Tomatoes said, or the consensus is however this person's supposed to exist in the world. I think he did a good job bringing that to life. I love Zazie Beetz in this movie. Yeah. Robert De Niro's character, like you get it. Yeah. He is. It's interesting because he's not like a voice box for like the elite, but he's kind of like a tangential like connective tissue between like the elite in Gotham and the poor. At least it kind of feels that way. And I appreciate what his takes in the movie because he does things that are wrong, he does things that are right. I like Brett Cullen as Thomas Wayne. He has a very good performance in the movie. Frances Conroy as well as Arthur Fleck's mom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's complicated. And I think the going back to Joaquin, I think because it's titled Joker, and I've seen some like, ooh, who's the best ranking all the Jokers? It's like, this is the definitive Arthur Fleck. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that performance, taking aside all the other, because I actually kind of avoided all the talking points going in because I wanted to go in this movie as clean as possible. But catching up on them, I know Todd Phillips pointed out, it's like my main goal was just try and smuggle a real movie in through the studio system using the superhero stuff, and I think he accomplished that.
I do too.
And I think this take on this character is, I think it's a really powerful performance that had to have been challenging to do because he has been discussed. He has a disorder that he involuntarily laughs, and it looks like it's one of those when you're watching a movie, it doesn't look like Arthur's in pain. It looks like Joaquin Phoenix is in pain, and it's like, yeah, man, I hope you had like. Once you were done filming, I hope you went and ate pizza every night and you just had a bunch of ice cream and you got to take naps. And,
you know what I mean?
Like
Rob McElhenney did for It's Always Sunny, where you just drank ice cream.
Yeah,
I wish you did that, but for good reasons.
Yeah, because for just your own mental health, man. Because it feels like ever since Heath Ledger, people have been trying to like top themselves and how they can do it. It's like maybe whoever does it next, maybe don't.
Pull a Mark Hamill where you just you just do a funny voice and then you go home.
Hey, pull a Cesar Romero. Just put the face paint over your mustache and call it a day.
By the way, put it in the comments down below if you would love to see a real world scenario where a man would turn into Cesar Romero's Joker. You have to make it like grounded, but it's in the world of Adam West. So interesting.
The fun game I play with myself is, since this movie's kind of set in an ambiguous like 70s or 80s or whatever, I like to imagine, just like when we were watching the Netflix shows, every once in a while we had to Netflix Marvel shows, we had to remind ourselves that this takes place in the same universe as Captain America. I like to imagine that Christopher Reeve's Superman's off doing stuff while this is happening. Like he's throwing a big S shield at Non, while Arthur Fleck's having a full on breakdown and Gotham's burning to the ground.
Could be possible.
Yeah,
who's to say?
Yeah, but there's no way to know.
No way to know. But when it comes to what this movie is trying to say, I think it is trying to say a lot of things. For me personally, because we do have different. The point of us doing these reviews together is to bring two different opinions together. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. I think it tries to say a lot. But I don't know if it ever lands on something specific. We might get a single character's light opinion on something, but I don't know what the movie is trying to say about those opinions. And it might just be that it's trying to present them and then walk away and let you figure it out, which that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And let you have the discussion. But I'm left perplexed by the overall plot sometimes, in a good way, but also the moral arc of this movie as well, I'd have to say. So
the more perspective. I think you kind of hit on it where I would imagine, and I do want to see this again.
I think it you need to
unpack some of that stuff, and I think it is kind of it's telling you about this character and the feelings he has and the feelings around him, and it's left for you to kind of unpack what that means to you. The problem is the discussion we're left with is the discussion in this world, and that's no fun. That's not a fun discussion to be having. But overall, what would you rate this movie?
I think I have to give it two different scores.
Yeah.
To be fair, because from a technical standpoint,
normally we like to do a fun one, but I can't. I don't know what the fun. Yeah, I don't know what the fun
movie
number we can pull out of the hat on this one.
I will say there is a moment in this movie that made me like cover my face because it was so funny.
Yeah.
But it's at Arthur's expense.
Yeah.
And it is very funny.
Yeah, and there's a few like. By the way, who expected Todd Phillips to have a secret Artur that he had like hidden away in his other movies? This is not one of his comedies. There were people around us that laughed.
A lot of stuff.
I didn't. And there were a couple times that were that moment. A couple times where you see some actual comedians that were pretty funny. And then there's some cringe comedy that's never my favorite.
I like cringe comedy, but also with what else is happening in this movie, it takes some of the fun out of that. So
your two scores.
I think from a technical standpoint, I think this is an A.
Yeah.
Like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think from that, and I'm talking about like how hard everyone worked to make this movie and how they pulled it off. I think it's an A. I think it deserves that. But when it comes to the story and what we're left to interpret, I feel like it's lower, and that sucks. Like, mainly just because I don't want to hear it. Like, just being honest, because I feel like like you said, we're gonna hear a lot of hot takes. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I can't keep up with all of them.
Yeah.
I'd have to give it I think like a B.
Yeah.
Which
That's still solid.
Yeah, I think it's
one overall.
Yeah. I think there's stuff that I don't like in this movie with some of the opinions. And I think there are some, but I think overall there's some moments where they're trying to get you to understand Arthur, where I really think they did a good job. But at the end of the day, like, why am I trying to understand? Why, like,
because Joker's a popular character.
Exactly. It leaves you like I've had like over 12 hours to think of this movie, and I'm still just like all over the place with my thoughts. I even like tried writing them down, and I'm just like kind of at a loss at certain points. But I do want to hear your thoughts, and I want to know what you think.
Yeah, for me, I think I would give it an A-, because I think it is incredibly well crafted. I think the performance of the performances across the board, but it is a showcase for Joaquin Phoenix's ability. I think it's a showcase for Todd Phillips' abilities. I was not aware that he had. Do more of these. And I do think it muddies the water a little bit when it touches on because it pulls from like different like headline stuff that we're dealing with now, but its perspective isn't as concrete. And I think that kind of diminishes what I think the movie is trying to do a little bit, which is why I give it an A-. But again, the score and all the other elements overall, and again, perhaps I'm a little biased because I just like that you in this day and age where obviously I love superhero movies, a lot of what we do is superhero movies, but I also love movies, and a lot of just normal cinematic movies just don't get made anymore. So if you take those conceits and like again that idea of putting it in this context, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that in a world that's become increasingly, especially as like Disney gobbles up more properties, you have to hit those 4 quadrants. It can't be above PG-13, all that stuff. I'm glad to have a movie that's like, forget all that. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody. This movie is intentionally not for everybody, so I appreciate that intent. Even if some of the ways it goes about it, I think could have been stronger. So I give it an A-.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Again, we ask that you try to be as civil as possible. The conversation around this movie is crazy, and for good reasons. But I just let's try to be civil. And yeah, just let us know what you think in the comments down below. But also over at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. Next week, we're starting up our show again, Super TV Showdown, leading up to Crisis on Infinite Earths. We're going to be talking about all of the shows that air each week. So you can tune in weekly for our reviews for Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, and Batwoman. That's going to be starting this year.
And that's going to be Patreon exclusive. So patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. If you want to join in the conversation of us talking about all of our favorite superhero shows that I can almost guarantee will be less controversial than Joker.
There you go.
And I don't know you, I'm crazy excited for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh yeah, when we saw Kingdom Come Superman, Brandon Routh's costume, I was like, okay. Like I kind of wanted this, but now I really want this. This looks amazing.
It's very exciting.
For as low as $5 a month, you can get those. You're going to be getting a lot of content from us. I hope you guys check it out at the very least, see if you're interested, and we're going to be doing content like that every single week. So tune back in for more reviews right here, and let us know what you think on Twitter at Sam Basher,
at DJ Talks Trash, and at Only Stupid Answers.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
Yeah.
Let us know everything, your thoughts and whatnot, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Wendy, David, hopefully let us know what you thought in the comments about the review as a whole. It's just like, it's hard to with this movie, you kind of have to address the things that are being talked about around it, because like, we didn't even mention the red carpet. They pulled press.
Yeah, they pulled interviews.
Which doesn't sound great.
Well, because Joaquin Phoenix was like walking out and shit and everything.
That's not great.
Yeah.
Except for Robert De Niro. Weird that he was like Robert De Niro's like, no, he never did that with me. He was a consummate professional. It's sure, Joaquin Phoenix is going through stuff.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah. Sounds like he could have pulled it together. He was going through a lot. He's probably really hungry.
Did you see I didn't want to mention it. Did you see the Jimmy Kimmel clip?
Of Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, so he's interviewing Joaquin Phoenix, and I guess Todd Phillips gave him a clip of him like kind of freaking out on the DP, and I'm like, and it looked like they just sprung it on Joaquin Phoenix. I'm like, who thought this was a good idea?
Wait,
like,
I'm gonna pull it up after.
Yeah, it's really weird. It made me uncomfortable. I don't like any of that shit. Go, you know what? Don't deal with any. If you can avoid all that shit, avoid it and just go see the movie as the movie. Because fuck all that shit.
Yeah, that sounds like Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
I don't understand comedy anymore. Well, that was a bad move.
Yeah. All right, so now we're gonna do Titans.
But you guys can't see that one. There's
Oh,
no
that's
embargo
right.
on that. You guys can't.
It's
see
way
that
too
one.
early. Sorry.
Way too early.
Bye bye.
But hey, a good one. I gotta go to the other room.
I'll go.
Hello. I'm gonna pull up this interview.